You know how like the one thing you know you should do, but you don't really want to do, but it's actually the one thing that will make you feel better? Like I do this to my husband all the time. He's like, oh, I'm so tired, so groggy. And I'm like, let's go for a walk. And he's like, that sounds like the most fucking counterintuitive thing I've ever wanted to do. It's like, yes, it's rainy and it's gross outside. And those days do call for oversized, amazing sweatshirts. But there's also other pieces of ourselves that we can adorn ourselves with to feel amazing. What up, lady? Welcome back to the Just Realized podcast. Pregnant pause. I had to say it because this will be the last episode I release under the Just Realized name. I believe this is episode 166, which is really interesting because next week on 6/6 will be the new show. So today I wanted to take some time. I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to talk about the direction of things. I just want to take a moment to pause and just reflect and show some gratitude to everyone who has ever supported the show and just say thank you so much for being here. I actually feel really choked up right now, which is really weird. Actually, it's not. I fucking choke up all day long, but it's so funny because the weather here in Virginia is kind of crappy today. I'm recording this on May 24th. It's the day before my workshop. So I would tell you to sign up, but if you haven't signed up, it's too late because this is going to be dropping on Memorial Day. The last day my baby's going to be 8 because she turns 1 on the 31st tomorrow. So Gemini season. What a good time to up level and make this change. But today just feels like one of those days where you just know like, oh my God, my life is just never going to be the same after this, right? So the weather's kind of weird. I just recorded an episode with my former business coach, mentor, probably will be my coach again in the future. And it was such a good episode. And it was just one of those episodes where her and I are both, obviously we're in different phases in our business, but we're at the same point for ourselves of up leveling and changing. And we're both shifting the name of our podcast. We're both like really drilling in and just like owning every piece of ourselves. And we got super choked up on that episode. And then I came in here to record this one after that. And I'm like, shit, now I'm choking up again. Anyways, oh my gosh. So I don't know. I actually have notes in front of me. So let me go back. So I want to talk about a couple of different things on today's show. I want to start this episode out with a post I posted last week and then let that segue into what this episode is really about. So I did a post last week on something that I truly, truly feel is key. And it's why I really want to go hard on this episode and change, not this episode, on this podcast and change the name and lean into it. And I realized that me changing the name of my podcast means nothing to you and everything for me. So thank you for being here with me on this journey. And it's probably not that unclear for you as it feels for me as a business owner around why I feel the need to uplevel this or rebrand the podcast. And it's really just around what this podcast was birthed out of, where it started, what the intention of it was. The ultimate intention of it is exactly the same because my intention with the podcast at its most basic level was to inspire and share and be relatable to other women because I was at a point in my life where I just felt like I didn't have that. And I was experiencing things really quickly in my life after motherhood and careerdom, whatever that is. And I just felt lonely, even around some of the people that were closest to me. I still felt like we weren't having the tough conversations. And it wasn't that because we couldn't, because some of my closest friends are people I've been friends with since college, and we've had some of the fucking craziest conversations. But there's this thing that happens when we get older where we stop having those conversations with our friends. And sometimes it's because, well, we're too busy chasing our little kids around, or we're really too busy to even spend as much time together talking as we want. So then when we do talk, like we just don't get that deep sometimes. My intention with the podcast originally was to just share. But then through that sharing, I learned so much about myself, and I uncovered so many pieces of myself, and I lost my job, which was such a big, devastating moment in my life and who I was. And it wasn't just because I just lost a job. It was the job that I had had for 11 years. 11 years of my life is the only job I'd ever had as a parent, as a mother. It was a big deal. I had changed positions. I had started out making no money, left that job making really good money. Like there were so many different life transitions that happened. And that's a pinnacle moment in my life where, things really changed and it set me on the projection that I'm on now. And then when I got back to myself and I remembered who the fuck I was and came back to styling, I always felt like I was having a really hard time like integrating my love for styling and what it meant to me into the podcast. And I was really working through worth issues and old stories around caring about clothes not being important and not being worthy and being shallow and vain and surface level. And some of you listening might think it's still all those things, but I don't see it that way. I see it as a really, really important tool, a necessary tool, an easily accessible tool that we have access to every day to help us choose what kind of day we're going to lead. And funny enough, the conversation I had had prior to this with my coach, one of the conversations I had had with her before I started the business, when the pandemic very, very first started, months before I got fired, was around feeling shitty. And she was like, well, why the fuck is today so hard? And I was like, I don't know. I didn't get dressed today. And I didn't take a shower. It's probably really because I didn't take a shower. But I was like, I don't know. I didn't get showered or take a dress. And she's like, okay, then you need to do that. Like, that's your homework then for the next week. And something in me clicked. And I was just doing that every day. And it wasn't the getting dressed. And I was months away from really tapping into the styling. It was the idea that I could control that. In a world that we live in where ultimately we don't have control of a lot of things, right? Whew, that feels heavy. There's a lot of things happening in our world that we really can't control. But the one thing, that you can always control is quote unquote your reaction, your emotions, which that's really out for the jury. I would say all of that. But what I've learned is I really can control like how I treat my body, how I get dressed, how I eat, if I'm working out. And I say that lightly because none of those things are easy to do. And I really see style as working out. I work out more consistently now than I've ever worked out in my life. I'm definitely not in the best shape I've ever been in my life, not by a long shot, but I mentally feel amazing. And that's what working out does for me. It makes me feel like a fucking rock star no matter what. So when I think about getting dressed every day, I really think about the working out piece of it, the aspect, the metaphor around this is, how like the one thing you should do, but you don't really want to do, but it's actually the one thing that will make you feel better. Like I do this to my husband all the time. He's like, oh, I'm so tired, so groggy. And I'm like, let's go for a walk. And he's like, that sounds like the most fucking counterintuitive thing I've ever wanted to do. Cause like, I'm tired. It's, rainy outside. I feel gross. I should just throw on this big hairy sweatshirt. And by hairy, I mean, like if you have a dog, I should just throw on this big hairy holy sweatshirt and just like vibe into this mood. And that's okay. And sometimes that is the vibe. But, if you have things you want to get done and you still need to show up for, why don't we do the thing that feels the most counterintuitive, right? So like on the day when my husband's like, oh my God, I'm so tired. Instead of continuing to sit on the couch and drink what he calls a baby drink, get up and walk and move your body. And he will agree with me every single time that when I make him do those things, he's like, oh my God, I feel so much better. Then go sit on the couch and have that baby drink. So I feel the same way around your clothes, right? It's like, yes, it's rainy and it's gross outside. And those days do call for oversized, amazing sweatshirts. But there's also other pieces of ourselves that we can adorn ourselves with to feel amazing. So I think that's really important. And I want to lean into that fully on the podcast. And that was a long way of saying it made me feel like I needed to change the name of the podcast so I could own this gift around styling and helping women know that they are in control of this and that they can experience this ease in their life to feel amazing every single day. So that feels like a really good time to just like straight fucking segue into why I'm naming the podcast, what I want to name it. But I also wanted to talk about that post on Insta that I posted the other day. So don't let me forget. I'll come back. So all of that said about styled, this is why I am going to go forward with naming the podcast Styled for Life. Because for me, what that name means is that you are literally styling yourself for your life, for the life you have now, for the life that you want to have in the future, for the life that you're designing, for the life that you're dreaming. This has so many meanings to me. For 2 years, 3 years now, I've been doing this weekly styling session. First, it started out with planning out my dream week. So like every Friday, I plan out my next week, especially once I became an entrepreneur. And I always call that, well, now I just call it style. So like if you looked at my planner today, you would see every Friday, style/bills/pod prep. Those are my 3 big things that I do on Friday. So I pay the bills. I prep up for Monday's podcast. I make sure I got everything in order. And I style out my week. And that is my version of designing my life, designing my dream week. Because for me, style is way more about the clothes. It's like life coaching, but also you get clothes. It's literally styling you for life. Like that's what styled for life means. It's a lifestyle. It's like you're styled so you can take on life, right? And I also love this idea around like, oh, I'm your BFF for life. Oh, we're down for life. Like, I just kind of love that, like, funny pun there a little bit as well. So next week, when you go into your Apple Podcast app or Google or Spotify or Pandora or wherever you listen to podcasts, I will be there. Don't fret. But the cover of the art and the name will be slightly different. So make sure you're subscribed to my podcast today. You will automatically continue to stay subscribed when the podcast switches over to Styled for Life. And it will be like nothing ever happened. And again, much bigger deal for me than it probably is for you. But I just wanted to share, and I felt like I had to give you a warning before I change it. And again, I know these are all the stories in my mind, but I wanted to let you know that that is the direction that I'm heading in for the podcast. It feels really good to me. It feels really authentic to me. I feel like my best self. I feel like I am like got a weight pulled off my shoulders. I feel like I've finally given myself permission to talk about the things that I want to talk about, which is style, which is unlocking the mindset blocks that you have around style, using it as a tool to feel good every fucking day. And I also am going to lean more into sharing products that I love, recommendations on, obviously style trends and things that I love, but particular things that are coming up, like sale items that are coming up, trending items, dresses. Like when I say items, that's what I mean, like clothing items and things like that. And I'm going to tell you why. So, been running this podcast. This November will be 3 years. And the question comes up for me constantly, mostly from other people, because 90% of me fucking loves podcasting and wouldn't change a thing about it. However, it's a lot of work. Podcasting can be a job business in and of itself. And any of you listening who may be running a podcast or helping someone else run a podcast, you know, shit's no joke. Okay. It's really, really not. But I truly fucking love it. And people have constantly asked me, like, how are you going to monetize the podcast? What are you going to do for the podcast? Podcasting currently is not like YouTube. It's not like, oh, you get so many downloads and you get paid on the back end. No, podcasting is straight up free content. And the best podcasters in my mind just like show up, own it, love it. Right? So this is something that's come up for me a couple of times. And in the beginning, it really didn't feel good or authentic. And I wasn't sure what that meant for me. And I've had an opportunity in the beginning of this year to work with a company, and it did feel good and it felt aligned because authenticity is one of my pillars. So I would never get on this podcast and share about things that don't feel good to me or I'm not currently using in my life. But I think I've really stumbled into a really true, authentic way for me to share things on the podcast for you guys to provide high value content for both of us so that it's a win for everybody. And that is through affiliates. So I have been invited to join an affiliate group, and through the Starling Business, I've become part of a couple of different affiliate networks, but recently I was invited to one that is really building out their focus on beauty products and fashion. And I'm really excited to partner with them and help them continue to grow that. So, for a while now, I've been doing my monthly roundups, and I would talk about my happy list and, list off things that I'm loving. I've even sent out products and emails, and none of those were affiliates or ads or anything like that. They're truly just products that I love. But now I really get to do that and share things that I really, really love through this platform. And I'm really, really excited to add that value and to create that for both of us, right? So I'm really excited that I've come up with a way to monetize a podcast that feels really authentic to me. What does that mean for you? Nothing. It just means I'm going to tell you products that I like. If you're interested in trying them, you use my affiliate link to buy it. And then I get paid on the back end through the affiliates, through that company. And then you get to try out products that you're looking for based on trusted podcaster and your style BFF. Now, what I'm really hoping to do with this is to provide super good value around when I know that products that I love are going to be on sale so that it's a win-win for everybody. So another reason I'm super pumped about this is I love products. And when I say products, I mean beauty products, face products. Like when I say beauty, I mean all of that. Makeup, hair stuff, skincare items, all of it. I think it all plays into our style, our personal taste, grooming ourselves, adorning ourselves. For me, it's all part of the self-love process. And just to give you an insight into how deep my love goes for this, I remember my first can of Aquanet hairspray. Yes, a giant oversized can of aerosol hairspray, bright hot pink, more like magenta pink, Aquanet, my bangs will not move hairspray. And that was a day I started to fall in love with beauty products, is that I could take something that was mine, meaning my body, my person, my hair, and transform it into a style or a way that made me feel more like myself and express who I was or how I felt. And I will never forget the moment I was actually at, and this is really fucking funny, I was actually at my babysitter's house, and her daughter was letting me use her hairspray, and I was like fucking mind blown. Like, we'll never forget it. And then I went to Eckerd, which I don't even think exists anymore, and bought my first bottle. And I had to save up for it because, I didn't have a job. I was probably like in third fucking grade, probably fourth, let's be real. But yes, that is where the love of beauty products really began. And to take this one step further, I was thinking about this. I have been subscribing to Birchbox since about 2012. And I think it was 2012 or 2013. So if I've been subscribing to Birchbox for about 10 years now, so 12 months in a year, I'm not really good at math, but I'm going to say that's like 500 or 600 fucking samples of beauty products. And I'm still subscribed today. Even when I lost my job and I was going through that moment of like, oh my God, I should like cut out bills because I don't have money. And what am I going to do? I was like, well, we're not cutting out my Birchbox because I look forward to those 5 little samples every month. It's a really fun way to meet new brands and to play and learn what you really, really like, right? So 600 samples later, damn near 35 years later of loving and being obsessed with all things beauty, fashion, style, I feel like I have finally fucking arrived. And I'm really excited to be in this space where I can really drill into sharing all of these things that I love. So the podcast really isn't going to change. So I'm saying all this, and what I really mean is that ain't shit changing, because I've been doing all of this the whole time. I've been sharing products that I love. I've been sharing style tips that I love. We've been talking about how to use style to transform your identity into your future self. And we're going to continue to do all of that. This is just me being overly transparent around the direction of the podcast and how I see it. And that when I speak of products now, like on my monthly list or anything like that, or if you follow me on Instagram, just know that I will put those links in my show notes and that they are affiliate links, just so that we're clear. It's an amazing way to support your favorite content creators. And it's an amazing way for us to provide high value. I think it's an amazing way for everyone who's like, yeah, I'm not really interested in styling services, but I'd love to support you. How can I support you? Just use those affiliate links. That would be amazing. So you'll start seeing, like in show notes, I'll start dropping some links. But just think of me as your, like makeup and beauty dealer. What do you need? I got it. Sephora, Ulta, Target, Tula, like you name a skincare brand, Derm Store, Revolve, Anthropologie, like you name a beauty brand, you name a fashion brand, I got you. Reach out to me anytime that you want a recommendation, or you're looking for something. I'm going to try to lean into this more and more and more, because I've found that a lot of times it's just those like, I want to try something new. I'm in the market for something and I really just want a recommendation from someone I love, know, and trust. And that's why I'm here every week, is to do that and to support you guys. So I'm really excited just to take it to this next level and provide that super high value content for you guys. And it's a win-win for everybody. So it feels really good. I'm really excited. And to just share my love of all of this stuff. So that being said, make sure you're subscribed for the podcast. Next week, the name will change. Styled for Life. The graphic will look a little different, but really ain't nothing changing around here. So someone said to me, one of my clients was like, really, Styled for Life? That's kind of pedestrian and boring, and you're not that boring. Get it. But it's super clear. And it's the overall intention is that we're being styled for life, right? We're styling our minds, we're styling our bodies, we're styling our emotions, we're styling our souls, all of it, because this is how we get through life. This is how we move. It's how we navigate. It's how we channel the next best thought or feeling so that we can move up the vibrational chain to feel amazing. So I'm really, really excited for this change. So all that being said, I do want to go back to that Instagram post, because it really is the philosophy that I truly believe my business is built on. And last week I guess it's been 2 weeks now, I had dropped a post around style is not the reward. Style is not the reward for being young. Style is not the reward for losing weight. Style is not the reward for being rich. Style is not the reward for having kids who are, in school or older. Style is not the reward for working outside of the home. Style is not the reward for anybody else. The style is the reward for you. It's the thing that you get to access daily to step into that version of you that you know that you are, that you're ready to be, so that you can show up consistently every day and be a little bit more confident in that future version of you. So a couple episodes back, we talked a lot about like ideal self versus actual self. And I went super deep into this, but that's what style is. Style is not the reward for losing weight. It's not all of those things that we think it is. The style is actually the trick that you get to use while you're navigating the weight loss journey, right? Hear me out. If we're working together and you come to me and you're like, one of my number one questions is, okay, there's a part of your body that you want to emphasize and there's a part of your body that you want to minimize. We all have it, right? Even, I don't know because I don't have the perfect body, but I'm going to go on a limb here and say that even in a dream world where I have the perfect body, there's still going to be parts of my body that are my favorite, right? I don't think I've ever said this on the podcast, but if you see my pictures from my birthday trip in New Orleans, one of the body parts that I actually don't show off a lot, that I actually like a lot, is my boobs. So we all have it, right? And I'm going to go on a limb and say that even with my dream body, maybe I'll still like my boobs. And if I want to show them off, then I'm going to fucking show them off. I'm talking a lot of shit right now because we all know that I don't actually show them off that much. And I'm working through that mindset block on my own constantly. But that's my point, is that style is not the reward for being in the best shape of your life. Style is the tool that we get to use to help ourselves get to whatever that next level is. And newsflash, there's no fucking pinnacle that you're going to reach one day and everything is going to be PG. That shit continues to go every day. And I know we all do this. And I know you guys know this, but like constantly, I'm like, if I could just do that one thing, if I could just do that one thing. And then you do that one thing. And then that turns into 5 things. And then like you still don't feel ready to do the thing, right? You're never going to be ready. It's kind of like having kids. You're never going to be ready. You could think you're ready, but you ain't ready. You might think you know, but you don't know. Right? Like you're never really ready. So what I was saying is like, if you're on the journey to weight loss or body freedom or whatever that is for you, right? Because that journey is different for everybody. Style is a tool that helps you get there quicker. Because if you come to me and I'm like, okay, what areas of the body are we minimizing? What area of the bodies are we emphasizing? And then how do we dress for them to make you feel amazing? It's really around creating balance. And I've probably said this on the podcast before. I say it to my clients all the time. We're creating feng shui with your body. We're creating art with your body. We're creating flow and rhythm. And a lot of times that's where a lot of us get hung up, is that we're not creating flow and rhythm with our bodies. We're too worried about trying to fit into a mold of what looks good on someone else. And granted, I understand that the beauty industry has fucking done that for us and ruined that for us. But it's shifting a little bit, right? And we're starting to see real bodies and real people and real colors everywhere. So it's the tool that we get to access. It's the thing that we get to do, not the thing that we have to do, that's going to help us hit all the goals quicker. Again, whether that's the body freedom journey, whether that's, feeling good every single day, whether that's taking the scary action and running that workshop that you're scared to do, starting that business, asking for that raise, creating boundaries, whatever that is. I truly believe and have found that styling your body for yourself to feel confident and connected to who you truly are and tapping into that future identity, being that woman now, is the key. It is the tool that's going to help you get there. And it's not 0 to 100, right? We're talking simple, easy tricks that we incorporate in and work in every day until we feel like we've mastered those. And then we up level to the next thing. And then we go to the next level. And then as we're up leveling and getting more comfortable with this one experience, then we get to transfer those skills to the next experience. So I am going to go on a limb and say, style is not the reward for being young or pretty or thin or rich or all those things that we like to put, that society likes to put on a pedestal. Style is your right. You have a right, you are deserving of expressing yourself, of feeling good in your body, no matter what stage you're at in the body, feeling good, feeling connected to the body. You deserve to know what cuts and colors will make you fucking sparkle and shine. You deserve to know what's going to make you feel good, what fabrics are going to feel amazing up against your body. You deserve to feel good every single day in your body. Wouldn't you agree? So style is not the reward. Style is the right. And that is why going forward, we're going to just take it home and we're going to be styled for life. And you can start tuning in here every single week for these fun conversations around just that. So I don't even know what to say. I'm super fucking emotional. And that's really what this podcast was about. I just wanted to pop on, let you guys know that I'm changing the name. Subscribe to the show if you don't already, so that I don't get lost in the shuffle when the name changes to Styled for Life next week and the visual changes a little bit from the name change. And to remember that being styled is your right. Tapping in to who you are, your most authentic self, to your values, to your true inner identity is your right. It's not the reward. All of that stuff is external. You get to be this woman now. And I am going to continue to show up here every single week to provide my favorite insights, my favorite actionable steps, tips and tricks, my favorite products, my favorite recommendations, my favorite brands that are having amazing sales, and all of that to make sure that you can begin to arm yourself with that knowledge as well, so that you can stay styled for life. So thanks again for being on this journey with me. Subscribe to the podcast. Really, also, as part of this up level, I'm going to be sharing more and more of this kind of content in my email, because it's really easy and fun space to share deals, fashion deals, beauty products that I'm loving, that I'm trying, that are rocking my world. And of course, style stories around how style has continued to up level in my life and just make things possible. Really, that's it. Style makes things possible. So if you want to stay connected on the newsletter as well and have some fun and watch my writing improve week over week as I continue to practice that thing that makes me really uncomfortable, you can go hop on the newsletter list by downloading one of my style guides. So katiejuststyled.com/freebie will get you to my Sync Your Style with Your Cycle style guide. Super fucking juicy. Really, it's around dressing for your cycle, dressing for the moon cycle, dressing for your mood. So if you don't track your cycle, but we all experience different moods, right? You can tap into that. If you're totally not into that, you can go download the Spring Summer Lookbook, katiejuststyled.com/lookbook. And when you sign up for that, you won't be automatically entered in to receive my weekly newsletters. And I would love to have you there. I really, really want to show up in email and create community there. I think it's a little bit more intimate, super fun to go back and forth. So check me out over there. And last but not least, you can always hit me up on Instagram as well. Katie Allen Stylist. And I would love to hear back from you guys on what you think about the name change, what you think about just everything that's coming up. And I will be dropping some links in the show notes if you're looking for some amazing products. I'm going to be dropping some of my fave everyday makeup go-tos in the show notes, and be sharing, like I said, some of that more and more on Instagram and my newsletters, etc. And then we're going to do a recap of the workshop and how to be comfortable and chic. And one of my top tips in that space is grooming. And it really is around makeup and hair. So stay tuned for learning more about that. I will see you guys next week. I hope everyone has an amazing short week with this Memorial Day holiday. I will see you guys next week for a brand new show with a brand new title, a brand new month for our monthly style roundup. I will see you ladies on the flip side.